Welcome to the deep dive. Good cop, bad cop edition. I'm Paul, Detective Wadlington to you. And that's Patrolman Boyd. He used to be a detective too, but we busted him down for corruption. He's seen more than you guys could imagine, just like I have. We've seen jaywalking, littering, everything you could imagine those scumbags do out there. And we're going to talk about the Texas season because we've got a new season. It's the college football playoff. And we're going to give some good cop and bad cop editions. We're going to have some takes. We solicited some questions from the excellent forums on Inside Texas. And by the way, if you're not a member of Inside Texas, you should absolutely go join. This is a prime time to do it. And if you're not liking and subscribing to these videos, you're missing out. And ultimately, your lack of information is going to drive you to drink. Right, Ian?
What's how you got there?
That's right. That's how I got there.
No, I said, what is that you have there?
Oh, this is Deep Eddy Vodka.
Vodka. Okay.
Austin, Texas. And what do you have?
Formerly McConaughey's brand Wild Turkey Bourbon.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. Are you ready to do some bad cop, good cop?
I'm ready to be the bad cop.
And sometimes you might be good cop. We don't know yet. Are you just committed to the bit that you're bad cop the whole time?
I think I could be. I don't think it would have to stretch too much. That Georgia game was demoralizing to me.
Well, that's demonstrated a lot of weakness, and we're going to try to work through that today.
All right.
All right. Here's the deal. We're going to try to go through these, and we're going to try not to filibuster Patrolman Boyd. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Oh, my. What is the deficit in reference to our offensive line versus Georgia specifically? Is it schematic? Does that bode poorly for the playoffs? Do you have a sunny answer for this or a dark, brooding answer?
I have a dark, brooding answer to give.
Lay out your soul.
I don't think it's a schematic problem exactly. I think that Jake Majors and Hayden Connor are outside zone linemen. They've had to be an outside zone primarily team. And I don't think the scheme and the playbook are designed to be this heavy into outside zone because they run so many different schemes, right? And when you're a primarily outside zone team, you don't have a lot of schemes. You're running outside zone all the time. And so I think the fact that they don't have a more versatile interior or a more power-oriented interior hurts them, but only against the upper echelons of competition.
That's the key, and that is also my bad cop answer. This is hardwired in the matchups with Georgia, and it has to do with the fact that they only try when they see a Longhorn logo on the opposing helmet. There are plays that Warren Brinson made in this game, the Georgia number 3 tackle, that he's never made in any other game. Some of them are phenomenal. They're actually highlighted on my Georgia postmortem in the comments section. You can find it near the end, where he is lined up in a 3 technique, Ian, swim moves Jake Majors blocking out on him, and goes untouched and nails Trey Wiseman. Yeah. Jimmy's and Joe's at some level. Now, let me tell you some good cop stuff. We ain't playing Georgia again. Oh, but wait, they're on the other side of the bracket. Oh, but we're not playing Georgia again. One of us or both of us will not make it to the promised land. But I promise you, if we make it, we won't be playing Georgia. Mark that down.
The question is, can anyone
else simulate that?
Yeah.
No.
I think Georgia's the best defensive front Texas will play this year.
Is South Carolina in this playoff?
I don't even know if South Carolina is as good at that as Georgia is. But
they're the most comparable one I could come up with. And then also maybe Tennessee. But if we play Tennessee, what does that mean?
That you don't play Oregon.
It means we don't play Oregon.
Semifinals, right?
So, yeah, exactly right. So that could be a blessing in and of itself. And maybe we beat them on the other side of the ball worse than they can beat us.
My concern is not so much that there's going to be a bunch of Georgias as it is that there's going to be a bunch of good defensive fronts.
It's not good defensive front. That's the point. Why did I tell you confidently we were going to have no problems with A&M's D-line?
Well, they're not really that good, as it turns out.
Well, they were ballyhooed. They have a bunch of NFL draft picks.
Yeah.
The reason is because they're all power strength guys. They're oversized. They don't have a lot of quickness, length, and speed that Georgia has. And they can't come at you in waves. A&M has depth problems. Similar to Clemson. Clemson's got two guys on their D-line that are legit. TJ Parker and Peter Woods. The other two guys, kind of jags, and they don't really have depth behind them. That's why Clemson is always fading in the second half of football games. All right.
And they're on tempo. Yeah.
That's right. UT Parking says, he said something, but it went, he's back. UT Parking says Texas dodged a bullet. Our kryptonite is Georgia. We'd also have a tough time with Ole Miss and South Carolina. Not only did those two not make it, we also avoid Georgia in our bracket. I think that's a fair comment.
Notre Dame has D tackles.
They do. I don't know about their DNs.
Yeah, true. Oregon has guys. Penn State has guys. Ohio State has guys.
Yeah. All right. Next question as your cat screams at you.
Freaking cat.
Is that your cat?
Yes.
That's not a child. Okay. Because it's not cool to play bad cop when your child is calling to you. Does the Texas offense have a realistic chance of putting together an A game against a good defense? Or are its inherent and systemic flaws too great to miss the iceberg this year? Paul Wadlington liked that comment, by the way. Sharp guy.
What is an A game from this offense? What does that even look like?
You know what it looks like.
Like Michigan?
Yeah, you light somebody up and you do exactly what you want to do as long as you want to do it. And then whether you take the foot off the pedal or not is sort of inconsequential, right?
Can they do that to a good playoff defense? I don't know if they can do that to a good playoff defense.
They could do it to a playoff defense.
They could do it to a playoff defense. I don't know.
If we play really well against Clemson, it's possible, especially if we can wear them out. More likely would be if we get past Clemson and we play Arizona State. They don't have great matchups with us, man for man.
I think Clemson, I don't think they can just blow them away like they did against, say, Florida. But if they catch them with the script early, they could keep Clemson at arm's length the entire game for sure.
Florida, another example of my thesis. Power defensive lines who don't have speed, quickness. They're not firing linebackers. Some of it's also protection stuff that I've gotten into in my postmortem. But Kirby Smart is very comfortable attacking our play action slide protections. Let's just say that. Splenda Daddy, formerly Sugar Daddy.
Splenda.
I love it. Kindly offers us a $5 super chat. This super chat is so you keep the shades on throughout the entire video. All right, fine. Fine. Paul and Ian, is it time to give up on Bond? At least until he is healthy. He's like a Ferrari with a blown cylinder. You know, Ian, we had very promising returns on our September bonds, but our December bonds have not been cashing in. Neither of our November. What do we think? Is it time to just go, hey, we got to quit waiting for this guy to wake up or heal up or whatever he needs and just dedicate those snaps to Bolden and Wingo? Or do you keep throwing them out there hoping for something better?
I mean, I don't know what his status is right now. If you could get one more Florida version Bond out of him, then that could be the difference between winning and losing against Clemson. So
Florida was a long time ago.
Yeah. I can't believe he's gotten worse. He's gotten worse since then, which is surprising. He must have tweaked it again, unbeknownst to you or I. And then obviously against Georgia, they got rolled on. So
does his ankle tweak make him run the wrong routes?
I don't know. Which routes are you referring to?
All of them against A&M.
Against A&M. Oh yeah. That's a good point.
All right, let's go to our next question.
Oh yeah.
Brad Wells. Inside zone is the worst play in football. It's the easiest play to install. an easiest play to defend. Do we agree with that, Ian?
No,
It's not the worst play in football. I could come up with so many worse plays.
it is the easiest play to install, I think, of holistic concepts that you could have.
Yep.
And it's the easiest to defend in theory on the whiteboard. But it's like the layup of football. Like if you establish that inside run and you're good at that, then it's like it's like having a good jab. It's like, is the jab the worst punch in boxing?
Doesn't knock anyone out.
Doesn't
but
knock anyone out.
You can control a fight with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Ohio State with a gentleman named Ezekiel Elliott, all-time favorite pothead who went to play for my Cowboys. They won a national title running inside zone over and over and over and then throwing it deep.
Georgia runs inside zone over and over, and that's how they beat Texas this weekend.
Next,
Just move on.
we'll start consider giving Arch more playing time, especially when we're inside the red zone. Excellent question. I'll take a hack at it first. Yes, and he has tried to play Arch more. I mean, he did unveil him against A&M. We did see an Arch appearance against Georgia. There's arguments on both sides that we should have seen some more Arch, particularly as the script ran out. Ian and I have documented first quarter Ewers. Where's my camera? First quarter Ewers, second quarter Ewers, third quarter Ewers. That's fourth quarter Ewers. Overtime Ewers still down there as well. Might we mitigate some of the decline, and maybe Arch could create a little floor for us, not just running the ball, but also throwing it? I would think so. But sometimes it's hard to pick the right time in a game to decide when you're going to throw someone in. I think you almost have to commit to it mechanistically and just say, hey, Quinn and Arch, just so you know, Arch is going in on the third drive or any short yardage situation. What do you think, Ian?
I think that will probably happen. Well, I don't know about your specific parameters, but I think that they'll try to mix him in a lot. Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Can Texas win the national championship with a Leak Tebow dynamic?
We don't really have that. I mean, people try to say Arch is the Tebow, but he's not. And people also overestimate what Tebow's actual contributions were. He was a great red zone asset for that team. Leak was the quarterback on 93% of their plays, right? Playing like basically a big spread offense. I think the comparisons between Leak and Ewers are pretty good, actually. But Tebow was sort of more of a force of nature as a runner. Arch is a great quarterback who happens to be athletic enough that you can get him on the field in these packages. That's kind of how I view him.
If the argument is no, Arch is not Tebow, he's not a situational monster, but he's a more versatile all-around quarterback than Quinn Ewers, aren't you just kind of dancing around the fact that Arch is a better quarterback?
Well, so if that's true, you make that change in October.
In October.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah. Baked in the cake. Next. All right.
These sunglasses on?
I can't see it with my sunglasses. It's got to be magnified. Oh, well.
Anywhere but Oklahoma or Texas A&M, Malik, from Kyle Umlang.
Oh, where do you want to see him go?
Yeah,
Kyle is a high-level Aggie troller on Twitter.
He's
Props
the
to that guy.
None of us will ever.
You could only aspire. I wish Malik the best wherever he goes. I don't know the ideal situation for him.
I do not wish him the best if he goes to Texas A&M or Oklahoma.
I don't think he'll do either one of those things.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Nah, bro. Nah. Did you see Connor Wegman is going to Houston?
Makes sense.
I thought he's going to go to Grambling. Next. Send this to people worried about Bill Belichick's ability to recruit. Yes. If he
No.
can find recruits with misplaced father issues, he's in like Flynn.
No.
Grandfather issues, I should say.
She's found the ultimate sugar daddy, old man, Black Widow kind of scenario.
Yeah, by the way, completely.
Especially now that he's coaching again.
Well, he doesn't even bother her. Like he's just doing. He wants to just watch film and like crush tape. She gets to go hang out and like live La Vida Loca.
Yeah, with an enormous bankroll.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, he didn't recruit anything. She found a good.
She's a fish that jumped in the boat. Helio Castillo says, do you think Sark and Co. are at the cutting edge of their offense, considering who they're playing?
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Try again, Helio. I almost know what you mean, but I don't. Like, are they at their peak form of their offense? Or
the answer would be no.
Yeah.
This offense is in decline. It is a depreciating asset.
Yeah.
She's in it for the money. Welcome to NIL. Exactly. See, we're good at just doing. Look,
same plan for North Carolina.
Women selling youth and beauty to men with power and status and wealth who are older has been going on for a long time.
It's almost a default.
Well, look at you, buddy. Look at your setup.
Exactly.
I saw something about a Utah punter flash on the screen. Utah punter Jack Baumeister is visiting Texas today. Well, good luck, Meester. I hope you sign. And also, I want you to deduct about 1.5 yards from his punting averages because he kicks in the altitude at Salt Lake City. All right, next.
Wait.
No.
Fine.
This is important. You're not going to get away from it. Next. You're overruled. I'm a detective. You're a patrolman. Ian Boyd, 2 questions. What is Clemson's offensive identity? And 2, what is the purpose of this sink in your house? Is it a sink for ants? I have never seen a sink so low to the ground. I'm having callbacks to what's the name of the damn movie? Zoolander. Thank you. Is this a school for ants? That looks like a child's toy.
That is correct.
Okay.
You got to remember the answer to almost anything in my household is found by following the fact that I have 4 children.
Ian, what is Clemson's offensive identity?
Up-tempo spread hero ball. They're actually, what's that?
Featuring
Cade Klubnik.
Yeah, and actually it wasn't built that way early in the year, but Phil Maffa, their outstanding running back, has a pretty severe shoulder injury. I documented it in a post that is on Inside Texas. Good luck finding it. It was up for 41 minutes. But basically, Phil Maffa is their star running back, and he was the guy that they would feed the ball to running inside zone, by the way. And his shoulder's been screwed. He's averaging 2.4 yards a carry. He's fumbled twice in the last 4 games. And then Clemson lost the backup against SMU. He's gone for the season. And their 3rd string guy is a guy that they beat out for Air Force. He's one of those Dabo Swinney guys like us, kind of recruits, guys he loves, and kind of a jag. So Cade Klubnik is going to try to beat the Texas defense, running the ball and throwing the ball. He's going to run it 15 and he's going to throw it 40.
They may run it to Maffa 10 to 15 times.
For 27 yards.
Yeah.
The big or load off.
If they can hit that on a 3rd and 1 or a 2nd and 1, if they can get that, that's money in the bank. That's all they want.
Other thing to note, they've really struggled with short yardage since Maffa's injury.
Yeah. They are akin to a Texas suburban offense. They're very similar to what you would find if you go turn on Westlake, Lake Travis, South Lake Carroll. Same kind of deal. Especially the part where you get into the playoffs and your quarterback ends up starting to run the ball a bunch of times.
So Blake Bryant says very adeptly, Maffa looked bad against SMU. Yes, and that's a big reason that SMU rallied back, because when Clemson gets a big lead, they can't exert game control with their running game, and that exposes one of their biggest defensive weaknesses, which is a lack of depth. So with their inability to run the ball, their inability to control clock, and the fact that they don't sub, and when they do sub on defense, you see the decline immediately. It's a big problem for them in the third and fourth quarter. So, Ian, we might win a game in the second half.
Yeah, could be.
The third string. He's doing this on purpose. The third string Clemson running back is a lunch pail coach's guy. Enjoy bluegrass music. Lunch pail. Oh, I see what you did, Rick W. That's very good, but he is not pale. But I see what you did. All right. Next. Let's see Paul and Ian fight. Ian and I would never fight. Does Texas have a realistic chance of winning the national title? Actually, let's answer that question before we read his lengthy paragraph thereafter.
What's a realistic chance?
This is for you to define, and then I'll correct you.
I'm just going to say no. I'm just going to...
Wait, let me get my actually glasses on, because I had my tough, badass cop. Now I do actually.
Now your internal affairs.
That's right. What? I can't do coke? I made the bust. The answer is no one has a realistic shot of winning the national title. Why? The team with the highest likelihood of winning it has a 19% chance. There's 12 teams in the playoff. And guess who has the second or first highest chance? Texas, according to the books. So
I'm lower on them than the books.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that. Oh, go ahead.
I would just say that, to me, if you had 2019 to LSU in this tournament,
oh my God,
slide your winnings in the middle and let Joe Burrow take you to the promised land, because you're going to win every game by double digits, and you're probably going to win the title, the national championship game by 21 points. That team doesn't exist. That team is not here. And if you're like, Oregon's pretty awesome, well, so-and-so is pretty awesome, it means you haven't watched them. Right now, Oregon fans are freaking out because Penn State had 518 yards on them. Penn State. And they rushed for 292 yards. Mm-hmm. Okay? What are Penn State fans worried about? Well, James Franklin is 117 against top 5 teams. Does that scream national title? You can go through every team. Georgia is playing without Carson Beck. And guess what? With Carson Beck, they didn't play so great either. I understand they get excited when they play Texas. They appear not to get very excited when they play anyone else.
Maybe worse than that, they're missing Brett Thorson.
Yeah, their punter. Yeah, I mean, I think we could use Mr. Thorson. Brett Thorson sounds like a name that you would make up in college if you're cheating on your girlfriend. And she's like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "I was at Brett Thorson's house. I was with the Thorsonator. You've heard me talk about him." Anyway, I'm not here for interrogation. I'm the cop. So we're saying Quinn needs to be Joe Burrow. Great. Drew, that is not what we're saying. But it would be nice if he was Joe Burrow for the next 4 games.
They'll definitely win if he is.
Okay, we got some other paragraph here. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, Clemson words. Come on, elusive shadow.
So I wrote about Clemson's defense today. I think we both agree that we will be shocked if Clemson doesn't play their flyover package as the base defense in this game. I hope Sark is not shocked like he suggested he was when Arkansas did that earlier this year. But I think he only said that to protect his players.
Agreed. You need to protect yourself if you're going to go buy a house. It's the biggest financial decision you'll ever make in your life. I'm talking about getting a mortgage. And to get a mortgage, you need the right mortgage guy. And this is typically when his Chiron would come. Yes! I'm talking about Gabe Winslow. You can reach him at 832-557-1095. Why, Gabe? Well, he's a diehard Longhorn graduate. 20 years in the industry, former National Merit Scholar. Dude's got a law degree. This guy's way overqualified to be doing your mortgages. Thank God he does, though, because he dedicates every bit of his intellect, effort, energy into fulfilling your goal of getting your dream house. Give Gabe a call. Find out why he's better than everybody else. If he's not your first call, make damn sure he's your last call. 832-557-1095. All right, next. We have no more. That's it. Now we shall go to the chat.
I thought there was more. There's one more. I like this one. What advantage does PK scheme have over the Clemson offense?
Calling me.
Yeah, schematically, go ahead.
Me.
Paul.
Yes, you have to call me by name. PK's scheme, this year particularly, has been very good at limiting passing game explosives.
Yeah.
Long pass plays. And guess where Clemson's offense flourished when they were putting up huge numbers early in the year? Cade Klubnik hitting deep shots and then hitting intermediate shots with yak, where the receiver would catch it and make yards after catch. They haven't been doing that as much recently. And they have almost no chance of doing that against us unless someone falls down. Knock on wood. So that's one big schematic advantage. The schematic disadvantage might be PK didn't fill me with joy in terms of adaptation and recognition of the quarterback empty set draw, given that was the only thing Gunnar Stockton could do other than throw a screen or throw a single rollout little pitch play. I would think that since it's on film and now we can prepare for it, it's not happening spontaneously, we will have something for Cade Klubnik when they do that on 3rd and 2. When they go empty set 3rd and 2, it's a draw.
Although Klubnik can actually throw, and he can throw through progressions in the spread.
He can, but where does he throw least best, young Ian Boyd? Short game.
I think at this point in the year, I don't know if that deep game is quite there the same way after a few 20 carry games.
Yeah, and it won't be when they play us.
Right.
Offense similar to Arkansas, asked Splendid Daddy, formerly Sugar Daddy. No. Why are they not similar to Arkansas, Ian Boyd?
Arkansas was much more run-oriented and outside zone and pistol and zone read.
Arkansas is run, deep shot. Petrino stuff.
Clemson will spread it out. Their tight end is 6'6", 240 and can run and catch. Their best, most established receiver is a slot. You need to think they're much more like they're actually very similar to a Sam Ehlinger, Tom Herman team. Maybe the Devin Duvernay one. But with better outside receivers than that, actually, believe it or not.
One thing to mention about Clemson, O-line, not great. Not a traditional strength at Clemson, but I would say these guys are one of their weaker groups. They're not terrible, but on the interior D-line, they really leak on predictable passing downs. I've seen not such great ACC defenders really give them a hard time on predictable passing downs. And then Cade Klubnik scrambles out and hero balls it. So I think the Sam Ehlinger, Tom Herman offense holds up that comp a little bit.
You know, the other way they compare it similarly to that Texas team or some other Texas teams is that their line is routinely filled with guys that are rated in the low 90s in recruiting and look like they played at Westlake or Southlake Carroll. And do not live up to 90s rating recruiting ranking in college.
Nash Talks Texas says, who, by the way, has saved my life many times with his post-game cut-ups of games. Thank you, Nash. You do God's work. Also, a very pro-player, pro-Texas dude on Twitter. When Ian and I are making our little criticisms, you can always count on Nash to be positive and optimistic. He says this is like Men in Black, but for Texas football. It is like that. That's right. Our premise is hard-bitten cops, Nash. I was going to say Three Blind Mice. That's probably much more accurate. Who's Clemson's backup, and is there a plan in place? Yes, their plan in place is to panic and lose the game badly if Cade Klubnik goes in. I know you're all saying, well, but what about Georgia? I don't think Clemson feels great if old Klubnik goes down.
Yeah.
They don't have Georgia's defense to fall back on, or their running game, for that matter.
Oh, you know, Clemson, it's Garrett Riley, and they run a ton of GT counter. They're actually also very similar to that TCU National Championship offense in style and scheme. Not in that TCU offense was better because they had Kendre Miller instead of a dinged up Phil Maffa, maybe more powerful line, and Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, they don't have that upper level talent that TCU did on that one team.
Duggan and Klubnik are starting to get closer and closer, though. Which
maybe I would say people forget that TCU team had 8 highly drafted NFL starters. I think like 5 of the 8 went in the first 2 rounds. So
yeah,
pretty talented bunch.
Yeah, some of those were Dylan Horton and D Winters and maybe one of the corners. I don't remember.
That's it. Do we have any other?
Pull up that one from Splenda about a hypothetical matchup between me and Paul.
Doing what?
Fighting.
Fighting metaphorically?
No.
The thing you need to know about Ian, package of dynamite. If you've ever seen any of the John Wick movies, that's a fairly accurate representation of what he's capable of. But John Wick doesn't want any problems. That's Ian. Russian mobsters killed his dog, therefore he has to kill half of New York City. That's how it works.
Paul's lucky he's in a different weight class than me.
That's it. That's exactly right.
It wasn't that one.
What's wrong with bluegrass? There's nothing wrong with bluegrass. I thought you were making a clever joke and you weren't, since the word pale is actually spelled P-A-I-L, as in lunch pail. And you wrote it as P-A-L-E, as in skin color. Never mind. I still think Ian can take Paul. Said it last night. Okay. Well, there you go.
Paul would have to forget all of his actual literal boxing training and
I told the boys last night if
you cut to my weight for the fight, I think I would have a great chance.
That's true. Out of sheer dehydration, I would die. I told the boys last night brains over brawn. They didn't agree. If it's brains over brawn, I win easily. Ian is the physical force to be reckoned with. They're both the bad cop. Exactly right. And on that note, our Jacob Woodyard, thank you, faithful chatter. And thanks to all of you for having a great chat and for all of you for submitting your questions. I am good cop / bad cop, depending on my mood and feeling. This is thoroughly bad cop Ian Boyd saying, thanks for listening to the deep dive. Thanks for checking us out. See you on Inside Texas. Make sure you like and subscribe this video. See y'all and hook 'em.